Hey guys, Manitoba here with you again. Today what we're going to be talking about is Toa HELL Floor 1. Now I'm going to be showing a team that is relatively safe. It is not free to play, but it was effective. So now you're going to see right there at the bottom on that side, 2 check marks. That means I'm attempting the 3-star variant of TOA Floor 1. It limits harmful effects to 1 turn and also increases attack by 40% whenever an ally dies, a maximum up to 200%. So we'll go ahead and get this started while I talk about this particular floor. A lot of people have been struggling with TOA Hell, which arguably there's no reason why you shouldn't be struggling for most people unless you're in the top 10% of the game. TOA Hell is going to be difficult for you. What I did here is I took a comp that would allow maximum skill availability. We have Fran, which has 2-turn immunity, attack buff, and heals. Jean, which also has a first skill heal when she attacks, but also provides a provoke so I can control and mitigate the damage. We have the Dark Homunculus. I have it on the skill reset build. It's basically like a hyped up Mav, unbalanced field. It will reduce the cooldowns of all monsters, enemy monsters by 1 turn, also putting the slow debuff on them for 2 turns typically, but because of the floor stipulation, it will only be 1 turn. It also resets all your units' skills by 1 turn, which allows the other units to cycle through their turns more progressively. I have Vertihile, who typically I would not use in TOA, especially because of the build that he's currently on. He is on a Rage build at the moment, Rage Determination for my Tri-Ikaru team. But the turn cycling ability of Vertihile is very useful, especially in TOA. And then I brought the pay-to-win version of Ganymede. Pretty simply put, Ganymede is OP no matter what element of the game that you're using him in. I'm using him here to control attack bars, to make sure that there is a lot of turn denial on my side, and also refreshing my Dark Homunculus, which will in turn refresh my Ganymede, which the cycle will continue. With this particular setup, the vulnerability of it is the defense break on the first skill from the Fire Pirate Captain, as you see there, but my Jean is more than tanky enough to sustain the hits. What I'm really trying to do is protect the Vertihile, because mine is very squishy. It is attack, crit damage attack, like I said, on Rage Determination for the Tri-Ikaru build, for DB12 and Necro B12, and whatever the new artifact dungeon is. Overall, with TOA Hell, I'm just going to give you my insight on what I feel about the whole content. Impressed with the content. I like the content. It is very challenging. This is the PvE equivalent of RTA. If you are not a RTA player, if you could care less about the PvP aspects of this game, this is what's going to mitigate some of that aspect. This is what Labyrinth was supposed to be. Unfortunately, Labyrinth I don't think panned out the way Com2uS expected it to. So that's why we're seeing a TOA Hell now. Even the Hell modes on Labyrinth overall were just very not rune dependent, but unit dependent. If you had the right units, you could cheese your way through Labyrinth, except for the boss stages. The boss stages is where the rune requirement really becomes more prevalent. But I mean, you got a Leo and you got a Shina and Fire Boomerang. I'm blanking on her name. But if you got those, then you could basically auto all the other stages of TOA Hell. So, Now the reward system for TOA Hell, I'm sorry, I said TOA Hell when I meant Labyrinth earlier, but now we're talking about TOA Hell. Let's see, the reward system, not cool. I do not agree with how they tiered the rewards in TOA Hell, and this is the reason why. If we're clearing the content, the reward should be readily accessible. Now, if you want to put bonuses in addition to for this star system that you put in place, I can see that. If you want to overload on crystals, that's great. Make that the requirement for overloading on the stars. Just you want extra crystals, increase the difficulty, and we'll give you extra crystals for doing that. I am currently on floor 9, and that is only because of a lack of effort. As you see right here in this video right now, this one is going to be about 20 minutes long of me clearing this manually because I've seen some people having some difficulty with this stage. I've seen a lot of gripes in whether it be general chat or online, Reddit and whatnot. It's just like a lot of people are struggling with this, and honestly, I can see why. I've been playing now for 2,228 days, still without an LD Nat 5 summoned. Just throwing that out there, calm to us. I've been rune farming. I'm always been a min-maxer in my gameplay. I know how to rune farm. I clear the dungeons relatively fast. I may not be number 1 on the record boards, but I'm nowhere near the slow end. So after 5 years of rune farming, I am not under-runed. The only thing I can be accused of is being very arena lazy and not having my arena towers maxed. But even then, I'm able to get through this content with on the 1-star variants with a. It requires a manual, but it's very minimal effort. So I can understand why people that are not as equipped as I am with the runes are having issues. Some people that are more equipped than what I have are having issues. Like I said, if you're not in the top 10% of in-game play, you're going to have an issue with TOA Hell. Now, you see I've been following the same repeat pattern over and over and over on what I've been doing in the in-game content, which is refreshing my skills, refreshing the Dark Homunculus, using my Vertihil as the big damage source. The only downside is the first wave does contain 3 water units. So from here on out, it's going to speed up a little bit. And when we get to the final stage, you'll see that I had a little bad RNG. And even with bad RNG, because I am equipped well enough rune-wise, I was able to compensate for the bad RNG and still push through and beat it on 3 stars. I just wish that Comtuos would have maybe invested a little bit more. I don't know how much time they spend in development. And I don't know what units or what the overall progressive rate that they test at. As we've come to find out that the average speed cap for TOA Hell, or not cap, but speed minimum, is around 250, 260, somewhere in there. And now, what you're asking a player to do for PvE content is essentially assign some of their best set of runes to units to clear this content. Now, so far, no one has found the magical TOA Hell team, where you just rune them up for TOA Hell. They'll do all 10 stages, and based off of early indications that each one of these stages is going to rotate, much like the bosses and normal floors. So I don't think there's going to be a complete TOA Hell team that's going to be static enough to where you can say, hey, I'm going to throw these units, these runes on these units, and it's going to work every time. It's just not going to be the case. So you're pushing players to equip some of the highest tiered, fastest rune sets to even compete for turn 1 in PvE content in TOA Hell. Now, unfortunately, other than the RTA system, all the runes are universally shared amongst whatever content you're going into, whether that be Labyrinth, the dungeons, whatever else is PvE, what Com2uS considers to be PvE related. So for someone that is not as far along in the game, maybe 2-3 years into the game, their average speed tuning or speed for their teams is probably maybe having a couple units at the 250, 260 range, which they're effectively going to try to use for Guild Wars and Siege, because you need heavily runed units to even bother to compete at a G1, G2, or G3 level. Even at a low C3, you're still going to, or a high C3, you're still going to be finding that requirement for runes right there. So what you're asking players to do at this point is choose between whether or not they want to have good comps in Guild Wars and Siege, or if they want to have a viable PvE clearing team for TOA Hell. Now, some people will say, well, if you're not ruined enough for TOA Hell, then you don't get to do TOA Hell. Well, I understand that sentiment to a point, but PvE content is progression. So when you dangle a Devilmon, light dark scroll, which arguably is the hardest thing to obtain in the game in the first place, a legendary scroll, what is it, 400 extra crystals, 500, 600 extra crystals, if you can complete all this stuff on 3-star mode. Just you start making difficult choices for players, whether or not they're going to have a 300 speed Tiana, or if they're going to try to mitigate those rune sets so they can compete in both Guild Wars and Siege and TOA Hell. And just the speed barrier for TOA Hell, I think, is a little ridiculous. Also, I mean, as you can see, like my Dark Homunculus has 100% accuracy, and it is going to miss so many checks. So what is the point of 100% accuracy on a unit when it's going to fail more than it's going to succeed? So I can understand, like I said, I understand why some people are having a hard time with this content. I really don't. Other than providing challenging content to the top 1%, 10%. It took about 7 days before someone, 6 days before someone 30 started. And now if you look at the record books, the top 100 are pretty close to the top 100 have 30 started. But beyond that, you're not going to see much more progression, because everyone is at this point where they are in the game. So I would like to see the reward system revamped just a little bit, or if you're not going to revamp the reward system for the time engagement in which you're asking a player to dedicate to playing this, I mean, I really don't know what to tell you at that point. If you're not going to take a look at that, or rework the floors a little bit to where it doesn't seem like every unit has 100% resistance, 100% crit rate, and outspeeds the average unit. And because I play in a G1 guild, I have to say that I am, even in my G1 guild, I am probably not the top tier of my guild, and yet I would say that my slowest unit is on par with most of the moderate units that a lot of my guildmates have. So after 5 years of playing, that's saying a lot. I mean, it's just, you got this content that it literally, you're going to force someone to build an attack bar, or an attack bar booster that can meet this requirement, just so they have a shot at CC control and mitigating this PvE content. So now right here, you're going to see right off the get-go, I'll go ahead and miss one reset on the attack bar, and then my Jean's going to go and miss everyone because accuracy is a lie. Don't let them tell you otherwise. And then you're going to see I'm going to reset my homunculus, get a lucky proc to reset again. I'm going to go ahead and heal up my vertiheal, and second round I only land 2 taunts. Go ahead and provide this reset again, and then I'm going to go in for my first defense break to set up the nuke, because as long as you can keep the JoJo lively, entertained, 100%, and miss the defense break. And it also only has a 50% activation. That does play into it as well, but you're going to see once again I'm going to go set up the defense break after I do this refresh, and it's going to miss again. It just basically prolongs and prolongs and prolongs. But just overall, this comp is pretty safe. You have sustain with Fran, you have sustain with Jean, and control damage mitigation with Jean. You don't have to worry about trying to keep everyone alive. You have skill accessibility with the Dark Homunculus and the Ganymede, and the Vertiheal with turn cycling. It may take a little bit of time, but it can be done. My first clear of this dungeon itself, I didn't have the Dark Homunculus spec. I was actually using the Rock-On build, Light Homunculus, and much faster clear time. Didn't have to use Jean. I don't think I even used Fran. I used Vertiheal, Varad, Ganymede, the Light Homunculus. I don't remember the other one, but I basically used it to clear all but the Gianna floor. Just because the Rock-On build reduces cooldowns in itself by making others attack with that unit, or 3 random units attack, which resets cooldowns. And then if you get Vertiheal teamed up, you get attack bar boost and all that other fun stuff. But just wanted to show a slow, methodical way of taking down this particular floor, because I saw a lot of people complaining about losing control of the fight at any point in time and just wiping, because once again the barriers are set so high. It does seem like, as you see, another resistance. It just seems like everything has 100% resist, everything has 100% crit rate. If they throw their bombs up, they're not going to miss. I failed a few times on this, and that was pretty much my sentiment when I went through it. So it is very challenging content. My biggest gripe would be the reward system, like I said. If they're going to participate in the content, give them the rewards. If you're going to add a bonus, then add a bonus. If not, don't dangle something that would tease progression and force players into believing that they need to complete this content. It is in-game content, there is no doubt about it. There's no reason why a level 30 should be completing this, but even most level 50s at 1 year will not be completing this unless they are very RNG lucky with some core units. And that's my other gripe about Toa Hell. It is very unit reliant. Com2uS can say it's not. Other players can say it's not, but completing this content with a Varad is a lot easier than not having a Varad. Having a Ganymede is a lot easier than not having a Ganymede, and your success rate and the dedicated time that you're going to spend on this content is going to be much less. Like I was going to say, Ganymede can be replaced with a 4-star Wind Taoist. You'll get a very similar result, but you're not going to get the exact same result. The Dark Homunculus can be replaced with the Mav. There are 3 and 4-star options, but it's not optimal, especially if you want to try to complete this in a timely manner, especially when Com2uS has I'm going to go ahead and show off the runes at the end of the run, but Com2uS has also changed other content, like the Hall of Heroes that they did change to 3 years ago, where they said that they were worried about players spending too much time dedicated to trying to clear a particular area. They felt like it was a drain on the player base, and yet here we are with they're adding something that they just subtract, or not just, but they have subtracted before because it caused an over dedication of time. I know that they just added the auto farming to both most scenario dungeons and now dimensional hole. So they want to find another way to keep eyeballs on the screen, so those pop-up packs keep tempting you and all that stuff, which I understand. Make your money come to us, great, good job. Do what you got to do. But make the content relatively attainable to the majority of the player base, not just dynamically shift it to one end or the other. I'm not complaining, once again. I mean, after playing the content, that's my only gripe. Support the bottom 10% as much as you do the top. Have everyone in the middle reap rewards both ways. Don't make it too easy, don't make it too hard. And I know it's a balancing act, but I appreciate all the work that ComToUs has been doing over the past few months with the events from the Street Fighter. I mean, it just seemed like from July up until now, we were just inundated with whether it be daily missions and quests or whatever rewards. It was a lot of stuff to get done. I know we're in a little bit of a lull right now, but yeah, like I said, the content itself I'm very excited for. I'm enjoying it. Let's just fix the reward system. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, or you see anything that I missed or feel like I missed the mark on something, leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.